Starting lineup.
1. And here we go with Meggett and Ingram back to receive for the Giants. This is Dave Meggett, the rookie, from the 5-yard line, working his way out to the 20. Stopped by Kurt Govea. Phil Simms, brittle early in his career and now pretty much of an Iron Man. The game of his life in the Super Bowl against Denver, 22 out of 25, and then he went straight to Disneyland. And all of the endorsements. And the offense with Joe Morris injured. It's O.J. Anderson, the feature back. Carthen is the blocking back. Manuel and Turner, the wideouts. Bavaro, the tight end. And there might be the whole key to the Giants' success in '89. The revamped offensive line. And wouldn't you know it, one of the keys comes into play all night. First down and 15 from the 15-yard line. And this is Otis Anderson in his 11th season for a gain of 10, taking it to the 25-yard line where Todd Bowles, the free safety, makes the stop. Anderson, so many sparkling years with the Cardinals, traded to the Giants in '86. And the Washington defense, of course, the strength on the outside, the two ends, Mann and Manley. Dave Butts has retired. Washington, the basic 3-4 with Neil Olkowitz in the middle, and Wilbur Marshall came over from Chicago last year on the outside. Davis and Green in the corners. Bowles and Walton, the tight ends. Giants in a one-back set, 2nd and 5, with the extra tight end Moat in motion, and Anderson picks up a hard yard to set up a 3rd and 4. Charles Mann, 71, and Alvin Walton, 40, and on the tackle.
And it's been a long time since Otis Anderson, O.J. Anderson. He says, I don't care what you call me. The O.J. comes from Otis Jerome, his given name. But it has been a long time since he's been the feature back in an offense in the National Football League. You really have to go all the way back to 1985 until he was a regular player with the then St. Louis Cardinals.
Simms leads him to the line on 3rd and a long 4 from the 26-yard line. Under a lot of pressure, down he goes. And that was a big problem with the Giants last year as well, giving up sacks. Monty Coleman records that one.
Monty Coleman, they usually say, is their finest linebacker at covering the pass. That time, they used him on the blitz instead of dropping him back. And perhaps in the Giants' preview of all the games of the Redskins, they did not suspect he was going to come. But in he comes, gets the sack, and the Giants will have to punt.
Frank, this is strictly a case of there being too many Redskins as far as Giants able to block them. That was a 3-linebacker blitz by Washington at that time, and the Giants only kept in 2 back.
High snap, and Landeta goes up to get it and gets the kick away. It's a high kick. Joe Howard back to field it at the 30-yard line. Escapes the first Giant and the second, but not the third, as he runs it back to the 35. And Zeke Moat comes down the field to make the tackle. Steve Diassi with a high snap, but Landeta able to get it away. So here comes Mark Rippon out of Washington State. Picked 6th in the '86 draft, spent 2 seasons on injured reserve, and last year he was erratic, as he was in preseason this year. There are his numbers for 9 NFL games and 6 starts. Riggs in the one-back set. Monk, Sanders, and Clark, the posse they're known as. The wideouts. Warren is the tight end, and the veteran offensive line, with Lachey moving from right tackle over to left tackle. This is Riggs. His first carry as a Redskin is an 8-yard gain out to the 43-yard line. Greg Jackson, the rookie safety, and Carl Banks converge on the tackle.
Dan, it didn't take long to see where the Redskins are going to try to go. You mentioned that triangle has changed. The nose tackle, Eric Howard. Jim Burt usually started there last year. Johnny Cooks, Steve Diassi, linebackers on the inside. They are new starters for the Giants. The Redskins will test it.
And right away, look at this. The Giants are switching Carl Banks and Lawrence Taylor.
And the Redskins send Biner in motion on 2nd and 3. And this is Riggs fighting his way for a yard or 2. Carl Banks making the tackle. One thing about Riggs at Atlanta, great career with some bad teams. He really finishes off the play.
They were very conservative in how they handled Riggs in preseason. He's only 28 years old. He'll be 29 in November, but they let him carry the ball only 28 times. Now, he's used to carrying the ball 30, 35 times a game, and you just knew that Joe Gibbs was going to keep him healthy for the opening of the season.
When I say finish off that play, he fights for that extra yardage, lunges, oftentimes picks up that extra yard or 2. And he'll look for that here as he seeks the first down. And he has it out to the 47-yard line. Leonard Marshall makes the tackle. Let's take a look right now at a Giants defense that has seen Riggs carry the ball on 3 successive plays. Jim Burt has retired. Eric Howard takes over in the middle. Harry Carson has retired. Pepper Johnson's a holdout. You've got Diassi and Cooks inside, Banks and Taylor. Kenny Hill is gone. Collins and Williams, the corners, and Jackson, the rookie, with Kennard, the safeties.
And now, for the first time that I've seen in quite a while, the Giants are flipping their linebackers. Lawrence Taylor working to the weak side. Carl Banks moving to the strong side.
And on 1st and 10 from the 47-yard line, Rippon going deep, but too deep, and Clark was covered well on the play with Sheldon White.
Good read by Rippon. He had the blitz on. Banks was coming, number 58. Lawrence Taylor, 56, was coming. And Clark had single coverage. Here it is again. And not bad coverage out there on the corner. And Sheldon White, stride for stride, it would have had to have been an absolutely perfect pass to get it in there. Good read by Rippon, though.
Rippon under some, well, media pressure here and some fan pressure as well for not going that deep in preseason. But he airs it out on his first attempt tonight. 2nd down and 10 from the 47-yard line. Riggs. And he gets across the 50 and loses the football, but he was down dead at the 49-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Diassi and Collins converge on the tackle. And there he is, Riggs. And that's a lot. 17.4 rushing attempts per game. The leader in that category would be Eric Dickerson, who through his career has averaged about 23 per game. And Riggs comes out, and Biner is now the sole setback in this alignment on 3rd down and 6. Skins with 3 wide receivers. And Sanders in motion. Deep drop. Rippon steps up, loses the football. Taylor knocked it out of his arm. And at the 47-yard line, the Redskins have it. So Taylor coming in from the outside, making his presence known immediately.
Well, he's working against Donnie Warren, a tight end, who in this matchup is really outclassed, but some kind of effort by Lawrence Taylor, who has just had a tremendous preseason. Watching from the left, leaving his feet and swatting the ball out of Mark Rippon's arms. Just a phenomenal effort by Lawrence Taylor.
And that was ruled a fumble, and that's why it's back at the 47-yard line on 4th down. Ralph Moshenko, who came over from San Diego, is the punter. And his first kick as a Redskin is a low line drive taken at the 10-yard line by Dave Meggett, who's very quick, but so is Gouveia. He made the tackle on the opening kickoff and on the first punt as well. So Monday Night Football's 20th season underway at RFK. This with Joe Morris, broken bone in his foot, out for the year in 85 and 86. The second of those seasons a Super Bowl year. Look at under average, where Morris averaged 4.5 yards a carry, but he has declined in the last 2 seasons to 3.5. The league average is exactly 4.
Looking back on that and reflecting on it, Al, Bart Oates, the center, is the only remaining offensive lineman in that offensive line from their Super Bowl season of 86, and that makes a big difference for a running back.
So the Giants, their second possession begins at the 19-yard line, and this is Carthen, normally the blocking back, picking up 6, fumble after he was down. The line judge is right there and says dead ball. Don Carlson there to call it. And just to clear up the last play with Taylor and Rippon, it was ruled a sack, grasp and control, and not a fumble. So Taylor picks up his first sack of the season.
Grasp and control.
The grasp he had was the ball.
Go talk to the official score.
How do you rule that a sack?
I don't know.
Just had quite a grip on his wrist.
Right.
I mean, obviously a fumble, but a sack?
Grasp and control of the ball. Here's Anderson for a first down, fighting his way out to the 31-yard line. Actually, in the rule book, a quarterback fumbling behind the line of scrimmage in that circumstance while trying to pass is officially in the rule book a sack.
Well, you can officially call it a sack, but let's not use the phrase grasp and control at the same time. There's Dexter Manley being driven off the line by Mark Bavaro, who I think is the best blocking tight end maybe this game has seen in the last 20 years. That's a defensive end Bavaro taking on right there, and effectively takes him 3 or 4 yards off the ball.
And what did they say at the Giants? He's a man on a mission this year, coming back from an injury-plagued year last year.
Not a bad receiver either. Big hole for Carthen through the middle. And he's out to the 38-yard line. So it's funny with Carthen. He's a blocking back for the most part. He was there to help lead the way for Morris. Doesn't carry the ball all of that much, only about 40 times per season, as you can see, and doesn't figure to play that much this year in a one-back offense.
You know, back in 1983, when he was blocking for Herschel Walker with the Generals, he was a 1,000-yard rusher in a year that Walker was hurt. So he can carry it if you give it to him.
On 2nd and 3, Anderson behind Carthen, and he gets dragged down from behind by Wilbur Marshall, who did not have a great year last year. And the company line around here was, well, he was just fitting into the Redskins scheme and couldn't shine the way he did in Chicago.
Of course, he also had a knee problem last year, and there was knee surgery, arthroscopic surgery, following the season. But I think his defensive schemes were probably a little more complex when he came here as to those he worked under in Chicago, when it was pretty frantic and pretty hectic under Buddy Ryan.
You know, Otis Anderson carried on 3rd and 1 last year, I think, a dozen times and picked up the first down every time.
And he's off to that same kind of start this season as he takes it out to the 42. He was their short yardage specialist last season. In fact, scored 8 touchdowns despite seeing limited action. Bowles makes the tackle on the last play.
That time Otis enjoyed a nice hole up the middle and a very deceiving runner. Mosi Tutupu is the oldest running back in the league at 34, but he's basically been a special teams player his entire career. I remember Anderson, when he came into the league as a rookie in '79, fooled everyone, being as big as he was and possessing the speed he had.
And this is Anderson looking for room to the outside. In fact, Dan, you were there the day that he broke in as a rookie with a tremendous outing. And then what happened to you the next week?
Well, I think Otis opened up with 195 or 196 yards against the Dallas Cowboys, his very first game in the NFL. Our next game was at the Meadowlands in New York against the Giants, and I blow out my knee and I miss the entire year. And then even behind a line that at times was very much patched together, he goes over 1,600 yards as a rookie. A sensational talent, Otis Anderson.
2nd and 10. The Giants have yet to pass, and here they go. Off the play fake. Sims sets up, has it intercepted by Walton at the 45-yard line. He's into Giant territory, and all the way down to the 35. And Sims getting into it, along with Marshall.
This is just a very simple play by Alvin Walton, who just sits in the center of the defense. The strong safety doesn't have a designed receiver. It's his own defense all the way. And he just plays center field. Watch Walton just drift back, sit right here, and Sims is going to lash it right to him.
Can't help but recall as we look again at Sims' comments to us yesterday. They never play a zone defense. They hardly ever show us a zone defense. The first time he goes up on top, he gets his zone. He doesn't even see Walton, and the Skins pick it off.
Sims was trying to get the ball to Lionel Manuel, who was running a curl, but he's way short. And then after the play, we have a little skirmish. Phil Sims and Wilbur Marshall, Wilbur sans helmet. And I don't know that there's a scrappier quarterback in the league than Phil Sims. Wilbur looks like he's saying, well, he took my helmet, I'm going to try to pry his off.
With your head in it.
Hey, Phil Sims will tell more than one defensive lineman where to put it. Tough kid.
Especially when that lineman is sans helmet, as you say. For the 36-yard line, this is Riggs. For a gain of about 8, Greg Jackson, the rookie, comes up to make the tackle at the 27-yard line.
And you know, it's tough not to call Sims a kid. What is he, 30 or 31 years old? He looks like he's about 18.
And acts like it at times, but he is a competitor. Good hit there by Greg Jackson, the rookie from LSU, that Bill Parcells was quite concerned about. He wasn't concerned about the hit capability of Greg Jackson, but he is filling in for an injured Adrian White. They'd like to be starting there, and a good show by the rookie from LSU.
Sims, by the way, 32 years old, 3rd oldest starting QB in the league behind Steve DeBerg and Joe Montana. 2nd and 2, Riggs picks up the first down, and down he goes, but a fumble at the 20-yard line, and the Giants have it. Mark Collins picks up the fumble. Lawrence Taylor was the man who stripped it.
And that's the Giants' ball. He wasn't down. And Lawrence Taylor, again, diving in from behind, is going to make the play exactly the way he stripped the ball away from Rippon. This time he's going to lunge through the air, Just watch him all the way and watch the effort of Lawrence Taylor as he leaves his feet right here and just hacks the ball out of the arms of Gerald Riggs.
And he takes it away from a man who rarely fumbles. He went through one season carrying the ball over 300 times, did Riggs, without a fumble. The Giants get it on his first fumble of this game.
1985, 397 carries, plus 33 receptions without a fumble.
And you think Lawrence
Taylor to face that year?
You think Lawrence Taylor is having an impact on this game? There is a sack and a fumble in the same play, and here he comes with his second caused fumble, catching Gerald Riggs from behind. So 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles, one of which the Giants recover.
And the Giants from the 28-yard line start with a pass to Lee Rusan, who backs up Anderson now. He's the number 2 running back as Neil Olkowitz, the veteran middle linebacker, makes the tackle. Rusan out of Colorado and figures to play not that much, just when Anderson needs a breather, as is the case here with 4.5 minutes to go in the first period.
Zeke Moat checked into the Giants backfield. The other fine tight end used to be a starter before he was injured, and Bavaro became an all-pro. The Giants expected to use a 2 tight end offense in their 1 single back running game tonight.
And 2 tight ends in right now on 2nd down and 5. And this is Rusan again, and he fights his way to the 40-yard line. He's pulled down from behind by the veteran Darrell Grant in his 9th year. And we've got another skirmish, and Marshall's involved in this one as well.
Well, Wilbur better get a new chin strap because he's lost his helmet again.
This time with Moat on the other end.
Now, Wilbur Marshall is having a serious chin strap problem here tonight. Once he loses it with a quarterback, and now he's having a helmet problem again. And another skirmish. Let's see if we can pick it up. That's John Elliott working against Dexter Manley. That's Zeke Moat, who's got the left hand way up on the chin of Wilbur Marshall, and Wilbur takes serious exception to that. And hey, it's only a flick of the right hand by Moat that knocks Wilbur's helmet off. Wilbur Marshall. It's an easier game, Wilbur, with the hat on.
Typical Giants Redskins, however.
So far, on first down, Maurice Carthen picks up 2.
That's Wilbur Marshall making the tackle.
And Bowles coming up as well from the secondary with 3.5 minutes to go in a scoreless opening period.
You know, one of the points about Otis Anderson is going to be his condition, Frank. You know, all training camp long, he prepares himself to be a backup. He knows that Joe Morris is the main guy, and it's not until just 7 days ago that he finds out that he's going to have to be the number 1 back. You really have to wonder if he's in good enough shape to carry the ball 25 times a ball game. And it is hot and it is humid here tonight.
Tough night to find out.
2nd and 8 from the 42-yard line. Pressure from Manley from the backside, but Sims gets the pass off to Anderson, and he's wrestled down by Davis, who needs some help from Bowles.
Oh, Dan, I know you've seen that many times with the Cardinals. He is strong, powerful, and you talked about can he get in shape to carry it that many times. For the past 3 years, he has not carried the football that often. What do you say, 40, 45 times in the last 3 years? So he really has not been worn down. We'll look at him again, and he shows the strength and just carries tacklers.
Well, look at his legs. I mean, Otis Anderson carries a great deal of his weight from the waist on down, and he is a talented receiver. He had a 70-plus year in receptions with the Cardinals, so he's definitely got good hands.
Shotgun, 3rd, call it a long 4. They have to get to the Redskins side of the 50-yard line. The catch is made by Turner. Down the sideline he goes, and he's finally stopped at the 30-yard line by Brian Davis. And there's a man, Odessa Turner, who had a terrific day against the Redskins here last year in the 5th week of the season, but wound up getting hurt and was out for the balance of the year.
A year ago, he caught 8 passes for over 100 yards before he hurt that knee, Al, and this was a set play. They knew that he was going to get one-on-one with Alvin Walton, and the Redskins don't want Walton on a one-on-one with an Odessa Turner, who is a great athlete, and they talk all pro when they talk about Odessa Turner. They're just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, Bill Parcells, who's normally very pessimistic before the season begins, worried about everything, just said yesterday flat out, Turner will be a superstar. Anderson hit by Manley behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 2.
Boy, and there's Dexter Manley working against John Elliott, the left tackle, and that time John just a little too eager to take the outside away from Dexter Manley, and watch Manley then slash back to the inside. Elliott going far too much to the outside, trying to get position. Dexter feeling that hole to the inside, taking it, and being in on the play, causing the play for a loss.
John Elliott's been working all week with Carl Nelson. He used to start for the Giants and now works with them.
Second down and 11 in the final minute of the opening period, and Sims over the middle, and it is caught by Turner for the touchdown. He takes it away from Darrell Green.
And he actually had Darrell Green beaten more decisively than that. He was able to take it away, but Sims just almost underthrew that ball because Odessa Turner had given Green just a little move and just blew right by him. And here's one of your better man-to-man defensive players.
And Darrell Green thinks he has the interception. Watch how he gets a hand on the ball. Watch him move to the inside. And Darrell Green actually has the ball, and Turner wrestles it away from him. Boy, Darrell Green after that play was stalking the end zone. He could hardly believe that he had that taken away from him.
Green is 5'8". Odessa Turner is 6'3".
Raul Alegre, who missed much of last season, he was hurt. Boots it through. And Odessa Turner, who had a sensational day here last year before an injury shelled him, is off to that same kind of start tonight.
And he's going to say, where are we playing next week? I'm going to come back playing Washington. Great effort. And Phil Simms puts the Giants on the scoreboard. He is enthusiastic. We'll be right back.
Puts it in the air. This is A.J. Johnson, rookie from Southwest Texas State. Taking it from the 2 out to about the 24-yard line. Greg Jackson makes the tackle. Well, Monday Night Football beginning its 20th year, and back to college football on Saturday if you make it there. From the 24-yard line, here's Rippon throwing, and Clark makes the catch on his knees and is stopped by Sheldon White at the 40-yard line.
Well, what the Redskins have to do now is start giving the ball to Gerald Riggs. Again, Gary Clark just spinning Sheldon White one way, then the other. That's about as bad as a receiver can make a cornerback look, Frank.
Oh, and you hate to go and look at the tapes tomorrow because they'll be chuckling, laughing. Bill Parcells won't be laughing, or will Bill Belichick, the defensive coordinator, but he'll get it from his teammates because he was really spun around like a top.
One way and then the other, and there's the gun, the end of the first quarter.
Mostly trench football, but the one bomb, Sims to Turner. That's the only scoring through the first 15. Giants lead at 7-0, and we'll be back high 80s and very humid in Washington, and we begin the second period. 7-0, the Giants on top, and Washington with the ball at the 41-yard line. Their own 41 as Rippon retreats. Has time and drops it over the middle for Riggs, who has a first down as he takes it to the New York 46-yard line.
Mark Rippon, very good with that touch for probably his longest suit. Rippon, the Travelers Man of the Year for the Washington Redskins. Of course, if you have followed over the past few years, every team has a player who performs well off the field in the community. And they announced the Travelers Man of the Year at the Super Bowl for the entire league. Rippon for the Redskins, however.
In his 7th NFL start. From the 46, here's Riggs again. And he can't turn the corner, and it gets bumped out of bounds by Collins and Jackson in a little skirmish afterward. No penalty.
Well, there should be a penalty. That hit occurred inbounds, and that's just good defense. You got the chance, come up and put a lick on someone as long as they're still in the field of play. Watch where Gerald Riggs is, and Greg Jackson comes up, and that hit really is right on the sidelines. You can't expect a defensive back to choke his motor that fast and come to a stop. And Greg Jackson, a rookie, trying to catch the coach's eye. Of course, he's already done that, or he wouldn't be starting.
Sanders in motion, 2nd down and 9. Rippon protected well, hits Sanders at the 40-yard line, and he's dropped at the 41. Still about 4 yards short of the first down. Carl Banks, coming off a subpar season, making the tackle. Banks was being lionized for a couple of years, especially following the Super Bowl season. Everybody's saying Taylor gets all of the publicity, but what about Banks? But he needs to come back this season after an off year.
There's one of the matchups we wanted to watch, Jim Lachey and Lawrence Taylor, and that's just good zone blocking on the left side of that line. Lachey and Russ Grimm handling the Giants line stunt rather easily.
3rd and 5. That's Biner now behind Rippon.
And Taylor's moved to the other side across from Jacoby.
And all the Giants come.
Are we going to see Lawrence Taylor going against Joe Jacoby more tonight? Here he comes to the right side again.
Sanders in motion. On 3rd and 8, it's Sanders making the catch, but he's taken down at the 40-yard line. Perry Williams is there to stop him. And Washington will have to punt.
And in Joe Jacoby's defense, Lawrence Taylor singled him out for a little action, and Jacoby buried Taylor that time. Took him all the way to the inside. The former All-Pro Joe Jacoby, down about 25 pounds this year. Down to still over 300, but what a big man. But that time, Lawrence challenged him face to face, and he handled it.
Said he quit eating pizza, and Domino's stock survived somehow. Moshenko lofts one, which is fair caught at the 8-yard line by the rookie Dave Meggett.
And did Bill Parcells breathe a sigh of relief? The rookie had a tough start early in the year when he dropped 4 against New England, but he has turned into a fine return man.
Greg Minuski, what's that saying for a certain hairstylist? If we don't look good, you don't look good?
A Colgate kid, too. Wow.
I'll tell you that he didn't get it at Kenneth.
From the 8, Carthen to the 10-yard line. Picks up a couple. 12:50 to go. We're in the first half at RFK. Giants on top 7-0 on opening night. Back of Phil Simms. Bill Parcells, beginning his 7th season, took the team to the Super Bowl following the '86 campaign. But the Giants have not been to the playoffs since. Had a terrible year in '87. And then last year, 10-6. Same record the Eagles compiled, except Philadelphia, through the tie-breaking procedure, went to the playoffs, and the Giants blew a chance by losing to the Jets on the closing day of the year. On 2nd and 8. 4-man rush. Simms protected well. Throws. Bavaro makes the catch. He got position on Monty Coleman to make his first catch of the season.
Yeah, that is a Pro Bowl catch by Mark Bavaro. That ball not thrown well by Simms at all, and Bavaro made Simms look awfully good on it. Simms laid it back to the inside. Bavaro almost had to spin around to make the catch, but concentrates on it. Now, he's working against a real fine linebacker, Monty Coleman, on the coverage, but look, he has to turn completely around, the ball thrown inside.
Well, it's the same old story, though, Frank, with that underthrown pass, which is what that was. The advantage really goes to the receiver because he's the guy looking back at the quarterback. All the adjustment that time was made by Bavaro.
Lionel Manuel is the man in motion, and Anderson slips by man, but then is stopped after a minimal gain by Neil Olkowitz. Redskins took a chance with Olkowitz last week, putting him on waivers. He wasn't claimed, and back he came.
Well, Dexter Manley almost took the handoff. I mean, Dexter Manley was so far into the Giants' backfield, totally unblocked, taking a big slice to the inside. He almost grabbed the ball from Simms. He's been known to make a big play or two.
So quick, only about 255 pounds.
Look at this. Look how far into that backfield he is. He was right in between Simms and Anderson.
You have to have somebody on him when you're running away from him, at least to make him go around an offensive man, or he'll catch it.
2nd and 10 with Moat in motion. Anderson, nice nifty cutback out past the 30, a first down, and fights his way to the 38, where he's finally stopped by Todd Bowles, the safety. Talking about Manley, I know many of you read about his testimony, emotional testimony before Congress last year. He admitted he was illiterate and now learning to read and write and studying very hard. And in fact, there he is, a poster boy for literacy. Be a winner, learn to read and write.
Yeah, what a gutsy thing he did to come out with it, though. And to think of all the other people in this country, we know the numbers now, is terrifying. For Dexter Manley, who can be an idol to so many, to come out and say, look, I'm helping myself, you can help yourself.
From the 37-yard line, inside handoff to Carthen, and he's wrapped up by Mann, among others. No gain. Under 10 minutes now to play in the first half. 7-0 New York.
Charles Mann playing this year without an injury. He struggled, number 71, through all of last season. First a hip injury, then later on a foot injury, and here he works against the Giants' Doug Riesenberg, working well.
Taking the inside position, seeing where the ball is, and using the swim move, getting back to the outside and making a play for absolutely no gain, if anything, about a foot loss.
2nd and 10 from the 38-yard line. Blitz. Simms unloads for Turner again. And Turner at the 28-yard line was out of bounds.
He was very close. I believe he got his right foot inbounds, but then in trying to come down, Odessa Turner swings his left foot over and it lands out of bounds. Clearly, good call.
And Brian Davis is the starter now at the left cornerback for the Redskins. And Davis was the Redskin that Odessa Turner victimized last year. They do not respect him like a lot of other people around the league, Brian Davis. And the Giants, you knew were going to get to him at some point tonight because Turner turned him every way but loose a year ago, and he had him beat then. Was he in?
Yeah, the right foot was in clearly, but the left foot out of bounds by a good 18 inches.
Have them both down.
3rd and 10. Sims out of the shotgun. Blitz from Coleman, and that opens up the middle, and the catch is made by Meggett, the rookie, and he takes off inside the 30, inside the 20, inside the 10, and a touchdown for Dave Meggett, the rookie out of Towson State.
Not a bad little burst of speed.
He's dynamite quick. He's only 5'7", 180-pounder. Made the team as a return man, and they like him so much. Parcells told us we'd see him in on the pass offense. He was wide open over the middle. Eased in there. Phil Simms found him, picked him off, picked him out, and he just turned on the speed.
Well, that's Meggett right to the left of your screen. Watch him go right up into the middle, and the Redskins are back in the softest defense in the middle you're ever going to see. I think that was Alvin Walton that came up and missed the tackle.
Leading tackler for the Redskins. Misses the tackle on Meggett. He flies in.
And he's one of the finest tacklers in the whole league, Frank. Alvin Walton, one of the surest tacklers you're going to find. Misses the pop on Meggett.
Allegre's extra point is good. Coleman blitzing on the play, and that helped to open up the middle as well. And the funny thing is, Coleman sharing time with Caldwell. Caldwell very good against the run. Coleman very good against the pass, but he was coming.
It was Walton. And then just a burst of speed. It's not blazing speed, but he's quick enough to get out in front and to maintain it into the end zone. We're playing catch-up. That's who usually loses these football games, when you get behind and you have to play catch-up. They're not there yet, but they're getting close.
He made a prophetic statement yesterday. A.J. Johnson fields the kick 2 yards deep, comes out past the 20 and to the 35-yard line, and there's a penalty marker down. Johnson, like Meggett, a rookie, hand tackle will give us the call. On his coach's show yesterday on a local television show, Joe Gibbs said he thought Meggett would play a big plate in 90-degree temperatures. Washington with the ball. The Giants are on top 14-0, and Rippon starts in a hole after the penalty back at the 5-yard line. Rippon with time and over the middle to Gerald Riggs. That graphic came up before. I don't know if you looked at it closely in terms of career receptions for Riggs, but the interesting thing is he's caught 180 some odd passes in his career, but he has never scored a touchdown on a pass reception, and that would be an NFL record.
And that'll also tell you where he's catching them. He's the checkoff man in the flat, little circle over the middle.
Second down, about 1.5 yards. And this is Riggs. No, sir. Banged down behind the line of scrimmage by Steve DeOssie, who came over in a trade in June with Dallas and filling a role in the inside.
That was a good move by the Giants. DeOssie never, ever did fit into the flex 4-3 of the Dallas Cowboys. They tried him in the middle, and we watched him there. He never really played that very well. They tried him on the outside, didn't handle that well. What he is a hitter. He is a powerful hitter, good against the run, and the Giants moved him that inside linebacker position, and you see it right there. He's big, he's strong, and he will really unload on you.
Of course, Gerald Riggs helped him out a great deal by coming to a complete stop. He appeared to be mystified at the point of attack. Got out there and just came to a stop, and DeOssie whapped him.
On 3rd down and 2, it's Sanders breaking free, sprints by Banks, chased finally out of bounds near midfield by Perry Williams. Ricky Sanders.
I'll tell you, they have 3 great receivers. They're 3 wide receivers, Monk and Ricky Sanders, and just unbelievable. Gary Clark last year, over 200 receptions. They can get you back into a ball game so quickly. But look how close Taylor is to making this not work at all. He's almost into Rippon's face again.
He tries that swipe move again. Lawrence, and the most lethal weapon on the field tonight, his swinging right arm.
Jamie Morris comes into the game, Joe's younger brother for Washington. The fake to Morris, and then Rippon on a roll hits the tight end, Don Warren, for a first down to the 34-yard line. He's stopped by Kennard. The blocking tight end rarely catches the ball. Don Warren, big play.
Well, you know what it is? It's just the play action off the old counter gap. When you run a play successfully, it sets up the pass. Watch the counter move this way, the two linemen pulling, and Warren just comes all the way across, and watch how open he is. But when you run a running play as successful as the old counter gap, it sets up the pass beautifully, and the Redskins run that play 2 or 3 times a ball game, and it seems every time they run it, someone's wide open. We've got an injured player, that's Terry Kennard of the Giants, who's down off the field. He's on the far sideline, clear off the playing surface.
And there is the rookie now, Myron Guyton, out of Eastern Kentucky, personally scouted by Parcells in the offseason. And he'll be taking over when we come back. Timeout on the field, 6:59 to go in the 2. Y.A. Tittle threw 7 touchdown passes that day, including this. This was number 6. The number 16, Frank Gifford. Look at that man go as the Giants beat Washington 49-34.
What a speedster.
What a player he is.
Look at him go.
He's gone.
He's going all the way.
Forget it.
99 yards.
And a half.
Get off my back. I was exhausted.
We played that one for Kathy Lee. At the 34-yard line, first down for the Washington Redskins. The Giants now with 2 rookie safeties in the game, and Rippon tries to exploit it, actually going to the sideline to Clark, who's covered by Perry Williams, the corner. But he does figure to exploit the Giants deep now with Greg Jackson and Terry Kennard, 2 rookies in the secondary.
And yet now they're seeing what happens when you throw on first down. You go for the big play and you don't get it. Now Mark Rippon and the Redskins facing a 2nd and long. They've been successful running the football so far. And granted, it has to be a temptation, although Kennard now comes back into the lineup. Guyton's out.
I said Kennard, the rookie. I meant Myron Guyton, who had replaced him, the rookie, at least for 1 play, was in there. Now Kennard, who was shaken up, is back in 2nd down and 10. Over the middle, catch is made by Clark, and Sheldon White grabs him by the shirt and takes him down at the 30-yard line.
Ooh, and Gary Clark had the right idea. He had Don Warren set up for a block, and at the last minute, Gary here decides to go back to the inside and not challenge the corner. Don Warren might have been able to throw a block, allowing Gary to get to the outside. Lawrence Taylor may have something to say about this play. A passing situation.
I was just trying to find him down there, see how they utilize him.
Here he
bring him
moves.
over the left side, the weak side.
Moves over across from Joe Jacoby.
3rd down and 7. Here comes Taylor. Rippon with a roll and underthrows Biner, and it will be 4th down.
And that's a poorly conceived blocking scheme that time by the Redskins, asking Mark May, the right guard, to come all the way out from inside and expect to put a hit on Lawrence Taylor. Jacoby stays inside. Here comes Mark May out, and he's in no position at all to try to keep Taylor away from Rippon.
Again, it was Taylor who was disrupting it. Rippon got out of there, had to pull out of it. Got the ball off, but couldn't get the completion, and the Redskins will have to settle for the field goal attempt.
It's not often you'll see the Redskins get in that area of the field and pass it 3 times.
49-yard attempt by Lohmiller, who was booming them before the game, but this one is off to the left. His career long 46 yards, so that would have been by 3, his best ever. Lohmiller does not succeed with 5:40 to play in the first half, and the Giants.
I don't know how he could do anything any better than he's done so far.
From the 31-yard line, Carthen runs into Charles Mann. And then he's finished off by Monty Coleman. Mann playing hurt much of last year. Painful hip injury. 100% healthy right now.
Well, the Giants are trying to run a trap. William Roberts looks like he's kicking Mann to the outside. And Carthen acts like it was a play designed to go outside. There's a screw up of some magnitude, Frank.
Well, you saw Monty Coleman, number 51. He came on the blitz, got inside of it. Carthen saw him and knew he couldn't cut it back inside, tried to take it out. Gets about a 3.5-yard loss out of it.
2nd down and 13, New York from the 28. Manley came across the line as Anderson, with a flag down, gets to the 30-yard line. Stopped by Olkowitz, and there's Manley, and he's mad at himself. Offside. Dick Hantak, the referee. Of course, the toughest decision he might have to make tonight would be if that crowd noise rule comes into effect.
Offside. Defense. Number 72. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Second down.
Well, with a second and long situation, Dexter's playing pass all the way. Look how he's in that elongated stance and trying to beat the snap count. Just goes across the line, then can't get back and falls down.
You think he was guessing with Phil Simms on it?
You better believe he was. He's playing pass all the way.
So good snap call by Simms.
2nd and 8 in the one-back set with the extra tight end Moad in motion.
Here comes everybody.
Down he goes. Darrell Grant, number 77, coming up from the inside. The veteran tackle, 9th year out of Rice.
The Washington Redskins at time really changed things around defensively. This is Dexter Manley all the way out here. Charles Mann has moved into the center. This is normally Manley's position on the far side of the field. Charles Mann moves to the inside. Dexter Manley switches sides. And the Redskins, giving the Giants a whole new look, confuse their blocking scheme, and thus the sack.
And that's not Grant's role ordinarily in the Redskins defense. You're so right, Dan. He usually is the stay-home man, play the run.
3rd and 16, and that's the rookie Meggett lining up next to Simms in the shotgun. And they send him over the middle. Simms buys some time and throws it away.
And Monty Coleman glued himself to number 30, Dave Meggett. Simms took a quick look, and he knew he couldn't go there, threw it away.
And I'll tell you again, the Redskins do a variation of what they did before. This time Manley stayed in his own position, but again, Charles Mann moves down over the center.
Sean Landetta to punt. Joe Howard, who was waived by Buffalo, in fact waived even by Washington and then brought back, stands at his 32-yard line, calls for the fair catch. He moves up to the 36 to make it there. And Washington will start from that spot. 3:51 remaining in the half.
Bob Wheeler wrote the book on Jim Thorpe.
So Dion will light it up at halftime for us as Rippon throws over the middle to the safety valve. That's Don Warren, makes his second catch of the half. Out to the 43-yard line, gain of about 6. Carl Banks on the coverage. Clock ticking down in the first half at RFK.
Rippon looking over to Humphreys on the sidelines. Humphreys getting the play from Joe Gibbs, signaling those plays into Rippon, and this will be the result.
2nd and 3. 4 wide receivers in this set for the Skins. And they keep it on the ground. And this is Riggs, who fights his way to the 50-yard line. Eric Dorsey stops him at midfield. Redskins, by the way, with a streak going tonight, and it's the longest such streak in the league. They've scored at least 1 touchdown in 50 consecutive games, which is the equivalent of a little bit more than 3 seasons.
We would certainly hope that that streak is not in jeopardy tonight.
You wouldn't think. At the 50, 1st and 10, Washington. Sanders moving. Rippon with a deep drop and then fires over the middle, and it's Monk at the 33-yard line.
And they found Sheldon White again. It was Monk against White, man-for-man coverage, and Rippon drilled it in.
And credit that to great pass protection up front. Both Banks and Taylor are coming. Diassi even up by the line of scrimmage.
Gary Clark making the catch.
And Gary Clark, the recipient of a wide open passing lane that Mark Rippon had. And Gary Clark, as good a receiver as we've seen in a long time at going low and digging up a ball. Granted, he's low to start with at only 5'9". And you know, one of the things that I really admire about the Redskin receivers is all 3 of these guys, Monk, Sanders, and Clark, have this ability to go across the middle and catch in the middle. There are a lot of receivers that are sideline guys. They like to run that flop.
4:35.
Yep. Under Gibbs here in the mid-80s, early to mid-80s.
Didn't we all?
First and 10. The catch is made by Clark, and Clark takes it to the 13-yard line, a first down. Washington had called a timeout to stop the clock at the 2:20 mark, so they're down to 2 timeouts remaining. They'll get a free timeout here as we come up to the 2-minute warning. Big night again for Gary Clark, who's had several against the Giants, including 11 catches in a Monday night game back in '86.
They found Sheldon White once again, and Joe Gibbs has a wonderful way of isolating people that he wants to work against.
But what Sheldon White, bizarre technique, turning his back on the receiver. That's not going to work. A night staring at that man all evening.
2 minutes to go in the half. Washington first and 10 at the 17, and the Skins have 2 timeouts. Riggs through the middle to the 11-yard line. Jack Kent Cooke, in his 70s, the owner of the Washington Redskins, formerly the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers and the LA Kings of the National Hockey League, built the Forum in Inglewood. And he's seen his team win 2 Super Bowl championships.
And a man who has a very difficult decision to come up with this week. Doug Williams is injured quarterback, kind of caught in no man's land, hurt jogging on his treadmill during the offseason, and technically the Redskins don't have to honor Doug's contract because he wasn't hurt after training camp started. And Mr. Cook is going to have a very difficult decision this week on what to do.
There was a report today in one column I read that said that Washington had already made the decision. That is totally false. Cook, in fact, soliciting opinions from other people in terms of the situation as to whether or not he will pay Williams in full or seek to reach a settlement or just what. But Williams, who underwent surgery, thinks he can come back in mid-year.
Technically, Doug Williams is classified as a non-football injury. He doesn't count on their roster. He's really in no man's land.
2nd and 4 after Washington had called that last timeout, so they have 1 left, and Rippon hits Monk. That's Art's first catch, and he fights for the first down. Art Monk on the far side, and Monk is able to not only pick up the first down, but get out of bounds.
And if out of the corner of your eye you happen to be watching what's happening between Jim Lachey and Lawrence Taylor, you're seeing it as good as it gets. Taylor's going to try the big inside spin. Look at Lachey react back to the inside. I mean, just outstanding work between these 2 all-pro players.
I can't help but think what you talked about in the Minnesota game we saw the Redskins when Jacoby moved over to the right side. Lachey much more agile to the left side. That's where you get the strong pass rush.
Brilliant move by Joe Bugle.
First and goal, and there's Taylor again. Got another piece of that one.
But that time he comes from the other side and beats Joe Jacoby. And frankly, Lawrence Taylor, I'm sure, is going to say, hey, Jim Lachey, I think you're a great player, but I'm taking my show to the other side of the line.
This is kind of what we were talking about a moment ago. Jacoby was over in the left side before he got hurt last year, moved over to the right side, and when Lachey moved over to the left side where he is much more active, much more agile. And you just saw Jacoby having the problems of getting Taylor.
Well, Joe Jacoby is an outstanding football player, but he is not going to beat, and that's Joe Bugle, the assistant head coach, he is not going to beat Lawrence Taylor to the corner to cut him off. Very few people can do it. Here he comes again.
2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. He is picked up this time. Down he goes, gets back up, and the throw is dropped by Biner. Ernest Biner coming over from Cleveland at the goal line.
Mark May that time unloaded on Lawrence Taylor. And, you know, I don't know when I've ever seen a player dominate such a game that the crowd even watched that block.
Well, I think it's Biner. I think Ernest Biner is the guy that gets the big hit. Watch Biner there, 21. He puts the shoulder on LT and knocks him sideways. May cleans up and puts him back down.
But at the moment of contact, this crowd moved. Ooh. Well, he tells you about the celebrity of Lawrence Taylor.
Well, every 56 in the league only borrows it from Lawrence Taylor. He's the real thing, the one and only.
Skins squander 6, at least temporarily. 3rd and goal, and Monk gets wrapped up by Banks, screams for a penalty flag, but we see none. Yet.
And I'm sure you saw once again how close Lawrence Taylor was on that.
Monk can't believe it.
Well, it is close.
Young quarterback, he's got to be getting a little bit jumpy when he knows that Taylor's coming from the blind side.
Let's watch this right here. You can see the right hand is clearly around the waist of Art Monk. Now, you can put the hand on the back as long as the official doesn't feel that you're moving through the player.
Here's Lohmiller with a 24-yard field goal that is good after he'd earlier missed one from 49. Crowd very upset with the officials. Wanted the call, which they didn't get. Biner drops a pass. They don't get a call. They settle for 3, and they're on the board down by 11.
Well, and
Steamy night in the nation's capital.
With all the problems, inner city problems here in Washington, it's still one of the most beautiful sights you'll ever see on a almost full moon night.
Giants are up by 11 as Lohmiller sends one very deep into the end zone, and Dave Meggett will kneel down there, and New York will take over at the 20 with 1:28 to go. From the 20.
I'm going to be there tomorrow.
Here's Carson.
you might want to rethink that, Frank.
Dan, don't compound it.
Oh, Frankie. Well, the Giants, with their 14-3 lead, are more than content to let this run out. You could see that's what was going to happen when Bill Parcells sends Carthen and Anderson, his two-back set out onto the field.
And 11-point lead, not a bad idea. Just you're deep down there. Don't hang on to that football, and that's what Sims will tell him.
He also knows the Redskins only have one timeout left, so they can't force the issue.
2nd and 9 from the 21, and now he elects to go deep to try to fool him on 2nd and 1.
Yeah, but
and Ingram is double covered. That didn't fool anybody.
He did not try to force it in there either.
Oh, it's pretty tough to make something happen with a one-receiver pattern. This isn't Little League ball. This guy's team isn't biting on that one.
41 seconds remaining now in the first half. So now if the Giants try to run the ball and Washington's able to stop them, it'll be Washington calling a timeout.
Yeah, they'll at least force the punt and hope they get a big return that moves them into scoring territory. That was a risky pass for the Giants.
When you think about it, sure, 3rd down and 9.
A very risky pass.
They have to get to the 30-yard line, and they send Carson through the middle, and he gets only to the 26, and now the Skins can stop the clock, which they do. They take the snap. Cost them a touchdown, a key touchdown on a punt. Here's Landetta now, setting up at his own 11-yard line. Perfect snap by Diassi this time, and
what a
booming
kick. Wow.
kick to the 20-yard line. This is Howard out to the 34-yard line with 24 seconds.
With a couple of adjectives on either end.
I'll coach, you play.
Washington, no timeouts. From the 33-yard line to the sideline, it's picked off by White. Sheldon White runs parallel alongside the 40 and is stopped at the 34-yard line, and now the Giants have it with 12 seconds remaining in the ball.
Now, Lawrence Taylor, at the end of warm-ups, had to go in early to have his foot retaped. He's got a sore foot. It's been bothering him all preseason.
I bet he's exhausted.
Meanwhile, they give it out of the shotgun to Meggett to get down to the 25 and take a timeout and set it up for Allegre.
Lawrence has been on a wind sprint
In the first half leading up to the field goal, Bill Parcells elects to give the ball to Meggett, a rookie. Now that's a gutsy call.
Where he wanted to put it. As we get set for Allegre's 42-yard field goal attempt. Snap is good, so is the placement, but the kick is not.
Mark Rippon breathed a sigh of relief.
Sure did.
And there's still a second left on the clock. Well, with 3 receivers all set to the right, it has the makings of one of the Hail Marys to end the half. And here we go. And it's just a flutter ball. And Diassi's all the way back there. And in the middle of that pile, it's complete. It's caught by Sanders. And that'll end the half. But it will sure look good on the stat sheet. It really helps your average gain per reception.
They'll never know at the end of the year, will they?
45 yards. Ricky says, thank you very much. It'll help out in contract negotiations. Good half at RFK. Giants lead by 11. Back we come after this commercial. A message from the
Dominant running back in the NFL through most of the 70s. This 59-yard run against Cincinnati in 1975 combined O.J.'s speed, grace, and agility. O.J. Simpson gets the call. Look out.
That's what they got to do.
Just about right this off. Oh, and down goes Simpson at the 23. He gets up again.
What a football player.
And the Cincinnati fans are all on their feet. They're seeing O.J. Simpson at his very best. In 1978, the longest of his NFL career. 2nd and 8. Campbell. Out runs everyone to the right. Look out.
He's gone.
He may take it all the way. Puts his head down. 80-yard touchdown. This is all.
And Bo Jackson to the 20 and out in front, and only one man to beat, and Easley can't run him down. He had the angle, but there goes Bo, and nobody catches Bo. Touchdown.
He may not stop till Tacoma. He's gone. Had only 10 men on the field. Big opening for Tony Dorsett. Look out, he's got great speed. 99 yards and a half. Dorsett down the sideline. Stays in bounds.
Can you believe that?
Short, because they're 99 yards.
Short yardage defense, all bunched up. And that's the 99.5-yard run, I think, is the longest run in the history of the league.
It is.
And suddenly the whole momentum changes.
Offensive backfield for the Bears. He'll be the lead blocker. They give him the football and Perry. Touchdown. William Perry bites the football. And this crowd loves it. They've been reading about this all week long.
And the other report we get is that they gave him 2 liters of fluid at halftime for the dehydration. And here's his last play.
You feel just 1,000% better.
From the 24-yard line, it is Riggs exploiting a hole through the middle, taking it out to the 41. And the second half begins with a first down. He's stopped by Terry Kennard. And again, just to follow up on Taylor, if you joined us late, temperature at game time in the high 80s. Right now it's cooled off to about 80 degrees.
Gibbs going right back to what he wanted to do, I'm sure, before this game. Exploit the middle of that Giants line where there are 3 new players. Eric Howard, the nose tackle. Steve Diossi, one inside linebacker, and Johnny Cooks. Got a big gainer out of it. They held up during the first half, but Gibbs is going to, I'm sure, keep plugging away at it.
Riggs has now gained 61 yards. That's Biner in motion, and here's Riggs again, and this time he picks up just 1.
On the ugly quotient, that play right there was way up there.
Yeah.
A couple of the Redskin offensive linemen ran into one another. Kind of a mess.
And call it no gain, 2nd and 10. Riggs has carried 12 times for a total of 61 yards.
That play deserved to be a no gain.
Passing situation will be interesting to see how they use Lawrence Taylor. Whether they're a little careful about blitzing him, because that's just a full wind sprint. He's at the top of your screen, standing upright, number 56.
And on 2nd and 10, they give it to Riggs, and he fights his way out to the 46-yard line, setting up a 3rd and 5. It's Greg Cox, Plan B free agent, came over from the 49ers, making the tackle.
And if you saw the adjustment they made there, what they did is they brought Cox from the outside on the blitz and dropped Lawrence Taylor off. So the Giants, who like to blitz Taylor every time, are now making a subtle adjustment. And this is a semi-breather for Taylor. Watch him bail out, and from your right, you'll see Cox coming on the blitz from the outside.
Dan, you know they can't keep sending him like they did the first half. It's a very warm, humid night. And it's not only the wind sprint that he's on every play, but when he's fighting somebody like Lachey, it's really totally exhausting.
Well, I'd think about moving him.
3rd down and 5. Clark in motion. Rippon has time, and Rippon's throw is batted down. White is there with Sanders. Sheldon White.
Oh, and did White do a good job on Sanders that time? They've been going to White every time they can isolate him and localize him. Rippon looks up. He read it was man for man, White on Sanders, and good job by Sheldon White to stay with Sanders.
Well, it was a good job coverage-wise, but Sheldon White should have intercepted that pass. That ball hit him right between the numbers on the shoulders.
After we watched what happened the first half, Dan, he was just surprised to be there.
That should have been an interception all the way. Rippon very careless.
We saw the rookie Meggett back to receive Moshenko's kick. End over end, line drive from the 15. And it's Meggett who talks it up at the 30-yard line, and nothing but Redskins initially are there. And finally are there as well.
That's been Bill Parcells' fears. He's talked about it very openly ever since the first preseason game.
I think Kurt Gouveia, we're going to find out, is the guy that puts a shot on him. Watch for number 54, Kurt Gouveia, on the return. I think he's the guy that really puts a shoulder on Meggett. Now, this is the way you return a punt. You take it up the middle. None of this head for the sideline stuff. Watch the right. Watch from the right. There's Gouveia, 54. Boy, that's a big-time hit. There's a prime-time shot.
Meggett 5'7", 180, and you saw the impact of that. He had the ball covered up. He just about lost his head.
And Moshenko, who was the punter, recovers it as Washington has it with Biner in motion at the 36, and Riggs swings to the outside and gets ridden out of bounds by Terry Kennard. Meggett, boy, I tell you, he's seen both ends of the spectrum tonight. The 62-yard reception over the middle for the touchdown, and now Washington with a golden chance to get right back in it because of the fumble.
Frank, your point about Meggett, though, is a good one. You can't take a guy over and chew him out after that. That's the kind of a shot that dislodges the ball from just about anybody. And you like that aggressiveness in returning a punch straight up the middle.
That's the kind we'll take it all the way someday.
Keeping the long axes of your body perpendicular to the goal line.
2nd and 9. Riggs again through the middle, and not much is there originally, but he gets inside the 30 to the 28, and we discussed in the first half the way Riggs finishes off plays, something that a lot of people don't know, because here's a guy who has played in relative anonymity all of those seasons in Atlanta, meaning he's not on national television very often.
He has not played behind an offensive line like this either. What a joy. We talked with him at length in one of our preseason games out in Minnesota. He is delighted to be here and look up and see the big haunches of Joe Jacoby on one side, Lachey on the other side.
He comes out in a 3rd down situation with Sanders in motion. Biner is the setback. Flag is thrown. Catch is made by Sanders, and that's a 1st down.
Then are the guys who are absorbing it and trying to steer them by.
And generally they're also smaller.
Here comes Taylor and Jacoby near side.
3rd down and 8 with Sanders in motion. And the Giants jump. There's a flag down, and it's ripping down at the 48.
Stop. It's 3rd down, long, 3.5 yards. You got a Riggs. That's what you got him for, to keep your drives alive. Last year they had to go to the air.
Sanders is the man in motion. Rolling to the left, and Monk makes the catch at the 10-yard line.
Oh, that was spectacular.
And as he's done so often in a spectacular career, it's Art Monk with a clutch reception on 3rd down and 3.
And very poor coverage, Frank, by the Giants. Their secondary playing very soft, and look how wide open Art Monk is. Again, a splendid effort and just an unbelievable catch by Monk. But look at that, not even a Giant in the picture. And Belichick talking to Greg Cox. I think he's saying, where were you?
I think Cox was perhaps the nearest Giant there. Belichick was checking out why he wasn't a little closer for sure, but what a great catch. Total concentration. A lot of other players that have dropped that football, I can assure you that.
It's 1st and goal, and Riggs fumbles the football. There is Grimm at the bottom of the pile, but he doesn't come up with it. And it is...
Well, nobody's signaled yet, but the Giants there it is.
Have it.
The Giants have it.
Jackson came out of the pile with it. The rookie from LSU.
Well, that's twice now that the Redskins have been in scoring position. Once in the 1st quarter, and now here again in the 3rd quarter, and Gerald Riggs both times has fumbled the football.
Take a look at it again. Riggs is not a fumbler. We've talked about that, and ripping it out of there and knocking it out of there is Steve Diassi.
And guess who else was wrapped all over Gerald Riggs? Try number 56, Lawrence Taylor.
This is what really killed the Redskins last year, too, that turnover ratio. They were worst in the league.
Minus 24?
Yep.
Incredible.
Richie Pettibone, the defensive coordinator. His unit out there now as the Giants take over at their own 8-yard line. And it's Otis Anderson, who finds no room. He can't turn the corner, and he's taken down by Monty Coleman and Charles Mann.
I'll tell you, on a hot night, and it is hot, very humid, players are bordering on exhaustion, and not just Lawrence Taylor. There's incredible intensity being displayed by both of these ball clubs. Great rivalry between the two of them. It's a classic pro football game, indeed it is.
Fans in September. The next time we're back here in November, you'll see the heaters along the sideline.
I like that fan strategically placed to keep the equipment man cool. But it's not even aimed at the bench.
Yeah, but he plugs in the fan.
2nd and 11.
Nice guy.
Manuel in motion. Keep it on the ground, and moving through the hole is Anderson to the 20-yard line. Otis Jerome, O.J. Anderson.
And Woody Hayes, if he was still with us, would have appreciated the way Otis Anderson took care of the football.
Yeah, but Dan, defensively for the Redskins, a big man is missing that so often would have been all over that. And I'm talking about Dave Butts. And the Redskins have had a hard time replacing Dave Butts as we look at Anderson exploited. Dean Hamill did not report to camp. They traded him to Dallas. Curtis Maxey didn't work out there. Tracy Rocker didn't work out there. And they're using a defensive end, Marcus Cook, at defensive left tackle.
Eventually, they hope that Rocker will work out. He's the rookie from Auburn. Anderson again swings to the outside. Picks up 5 yards. Stopped there by Brian Davis.
And O.J. Anderson getting up and telling Brian Davis, you better come up with a harder hit than that if you want to phase me.
Funny thing about Anderson, he shows up at training camp last year, and some rookie free agent who knows him only by Otis Anderson says to him, are you related to O.J. Anderson, the former Cardinal? He says, I am O.J. Anderson. He said, I thought you retired.
Well, what's Bill Parcells calling him? Elvis? He said, I've resurrected him from the dead. And in a sense, he has. He's given him the opportunity, but give Anderson credit. He has stayed active, and he has been impressive for an older running back.
2nd and 5 from the 25-yard line. And nothing doing there. Right in the middle is Dexter Manley, stopping him for no gain.
You know, there are an awful lot of good football players on the field tonight. We're going to do some games throughout the course of this Monday night season of ours where there aren't as many high-quality, high-powered athletes on the field as we have here tonight. Lots and lots of good-looking talent.
And some of them, Dan, have been around for a while, and now you've been watching them develop. Manley, he's been around, 9 years? You got Manley on the other side, 7 years. They've played in 3 Super Bowls.
3rd down 4. Giants from the 26-yard line. That's Moat in motion. And here come the Redskins. If they pick up the blitz, they take Marshall out of the play, and Sims is going to scramble and try to get the first down, and out of bounds he goes at the 35, and he has it.
What a hustle by Dexter Manley. He was the man who helped flush Sims out of the pocket, and he was also the one that chased him out of bounds 30 yards away.
But I'll tell you what else happens, Frank. On pass rushing, everyone has to honor their lanes. Watch Wilbur Marshall go upfield, but watch Dexter come up and then make a decision to work back to the inside, and watch Phil Sims split the seam. Dexter Manley has got to stay there, stay at home. Watch him move to the inside, and there's where Phil Sims gets his alley, and that's how he picks up the first down. You've got to honor your lanes in rushing the passer. That time Dexter Manley gambled and got burned.
3 tight ends. That's Howard Cross, a rookie tight end in motion. And on first down, it's Anderson out to the 36 with 7:55 to play. 3rd quarter. The Giants are on top by a score of 14-3. The Giants breaking on top early, leading 14-0. 62-yard touchdown reception by the rookie Dave Meggett after Odessa Turner had initially put the Giants on the board. Lohmiller with a field goal late in the 2nd quarter. Lawrence Taylor a big first half, and the Giants, who come in as 4-point dogs, lead by 11.
And now it's Richie Pettibone, and the Redskins doing a little substituting. Fred Stokes, number 60, is in for Manley, right defensive end.
2nd and 8. Anderson tripped up behind the line by Monty Coleman in his 11th year out of Central Arkansas. And
another fight.
Scuffle at the 42. William Roberts and Alvin Walton. Walton doesn't get into too many skirmishes, does he?
It's tough to find the football on the field without Alvin Walton there somewhere.
Right.
It's only a 1-play breather for Dexter. Now with the obvious passing down, 3rd and long.
That'll be interesting, too, to see if the Giants will try to lock up Odessa Turner one-on-one. Redskins would be well advised to provide a little double coverage on number 83, who goes to your left as you look down from up above.
From the gun on 3rd down and 8. Ingram in motion. Sims trying to set up and then knocked down at the 42-yard line by A.J. Johnson, the rookie. Baker, the intended receiver.
That saved the Giants' first down. Good play, Johnson.
Boy, I want to see how he gets a hand on this ball because Baker's out in front of him. You look at that and you say that's a completion. Wow.
Yeah,
Perfect timing.
Baker turned his head. He thought he had that ball and was ready to run with it.
Well, if you'd have freeze framed right there and said, what are the odds of this not being a completion, they would have been 1 in 10. Some play by A.J. Johnson.
Joe Howard to accept the kick off the foot of Landetta. Short kick, but it takes a great bounce for the Giants. And Howard better hope that he didn't touch the football because it's dead at the 3-yard line.
Boy, he better be right.
Ooh.
Oh, and we've got Alvin Walton going again, and there goes a flag up at the 35.
Third. Giants on top 14-3, and Mark Rippon off the play fade. Throws, and it's tipped, and it's incomplete. Off the hands of Gary Clark over the middle.
Oh, great call by the Redskins. A perfectly executed pattern by Clark. It's just a high throw from Rippon.
Can I tell you how receivers hate that high pass coming over the middle? Fortunately, that was too high to even go after.
Well, just a great call and well executed by the Redskins. A little late face mask action by Terry Kennard inadvertently.
I'll tell you, that's where you really get the bruising, though, going up for it.
Down 14-3. That's a tough one to miss.
2nd and 10. And on the ground to try to give them some breathing room, taking the ball out to the 7-yard line with 6:10 to play in the 3rd. Gerald Riggs setting up a 3rd down, called it 7.
I don't know that there's ever been a linebacker that pursues flat down the line of scrimmage better than Lawrence Taylor. And a good look. He's unblocked, but yet on nothing but desire, runs flat down the line of scrimmage and makes the tackle. Only a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, would you say that is why we are not seeing a lot of the counter gap? Ordinarily, the Redskins will run it 10, 12 times a ball game, but with not only Taylor but Banks on the other side, I mean, they have great speed and they catch it from behind.
Well, the only way I would run that play was I would run it right at Lawrence Taylor, not away from him.
3rd and 7 from the Redskins 7. And Rippon to the near side to Clark. He makes the catch at the 28, spins away from Sheldon White, taken down at the 34-yard line by Myron Guyton.
Man, I love a wide receiver that just doesn't take the automatic step out of bounds after making a catch and say, well, this will be real pretty. I'll make the catch and won't even get hit. God, I love a guy that'll go back inside and try to pick up some yardage and take a hit.
They're tough guys, Gary Clark, Ricky Sanders, and Art Monk, and pretty good throw by Rippon to get it out there. But here's what Dan is talking about. A lot of receivers would have taken that right out of bounds. Puts the brakes on, gets another 4 or 5 yards out of it.
And barely put the brakes on. He was extremely close to being out of bounds, but what an effort by Clark.
28-yard pickup, 1st down, 35, reverse. Art Monk swinging to the outside, and Williams can't take him down, but he slows him down, and Monk is dropped at the 36-yard line by Taylor.
And cast your Pro Bowl ballots right now for Lawrence Taylor. I mean, he blows the play initially by being there and forcing the ball all the way towards the sidelines, and then he comes back. Watch this. Just by where he is, getting up, forcing it to the sidelines, he's strung out the play, and then by staying on his feet and getting into a pursuit angle, he ends up making the tackle on Art Monk. I'm sorry.
Hey, you run out of superlatives, don't you?
Yeah, move to the head of the class.
He's already there.
You've got an A for the semester already.
2nd and 9 from the 36-yard line. Monk catches it at the 40, looks for the 1st down, but comes up short. Carl Banks stops him at the 44, and the Skins will have it 3rd and 1 with under 4 minutes to play in the 3rd period.
Good heady read by Monk. Giants come with the blitz. He has an up pattern called, and he pulls it up and is wide open.
You know, I guess we run the risk of suffering the wrath of some people who are going to say that we're favoring the Giants, that we're talking about Lawrence Taylor this, Lawrence Taylor that. Folks, I hope that you have the know-how, the know where we're all, wherever I'm trying to say to realize. Wherewithal. What you're seeing greatness.
Well, the wherewithal for Riggs here is a 1st down on a super effort out to the 48-yard line. A super effort to pick up those extra couple of yards, again finishing off the play is Gerald, and Washington keeps the drive going.
I'm going to try that again, Dan.
Well, he was so good. I even was at a loss for words, and that doesn't happen very often.
He was a horse and a half, right?
He was a horse and a half. Oh, some real helmet painting going on tonight.
At the 48.
I'm going to go get a hot dog.
All right.
The 3 at halftime weren't enough.
Here's Riggs across the 50 to the 49 of the Giants.
I'm going to take a couple plays off. I've lost my confidence.
Riggs closing in on 100 yards. And again, Gerald out of Arizona State, all of those years in Atlanta. He was the workhorse there. And then the Falcons found John Settle, who emerged last year. Riggs became expendable, and off he went for a draft choice. Atlanta gets Washington's #1 next season. From the Goodyear blimp, looking down into RFK on second down, called it 6. Jamie Morris is the setback. The play fake is to him, and going deep and out in front is Ricky Sanders. He makes the catch for the touchdown.
Ran right by Mark Collins.
And the Redskins are out on the field.
New ball game.
Boy, the play action just froze the Giants secondary. It's the old counter gap play again. Remember how well they ran it in the first half, only they threw it to Donnie Warren coming across underneath. This time it's the same action, only it's Ricky Sanders on a fly pattern down the middle.
Mark caught looking at the play action. Kennard couldn't get over there from the free safety, and a great pass by Rippon. He just could not overthrow Ricky Sanders. He unloaded it just about as far as he could throw it.
Lohmiller's extra point is good. Washington has now scored a touchdown in 51 consecutive games, longest such streak in the NFL. And it is a brand new ball game. 14-10, Giants. Ricky Sanders touchdown reception, down by 4. This is the rookie Meggett from the 5-yard line, who scored the touchdown on the pass reception in the first half, and he takes it back out to the 27.
And look at him hang that ball out there in one hand.
Stopped by Howard. Timeout with 1:47 to go in the third. Receptions of 40-plus yards last year. Tonight he has caught 5. He's averaging 26.6. The Giants, meanwhile, as a team, have completed only 6 passes tonight. Only 1 more than Sanders. From the 27-yard line, Phil Simms up by 4. Down he goes. Darryl Grant and Dexter Manley. As Simms took the short drop, nobody was open and takes the sack.
Good coverage by Brian Davis, the left cornerback for the Redskins. Simms looked up. He wanted to go to Odessa Turner. Davis was right with him.
And taking the sack is a very descriptive term. Phil Simms, being the veteran quarterback that he is, realizes that a short sack like that is not the end of the world. He's not going to force the football. They still have the lead, 14-10. He'll just fall down, eat it, and play for the next down.
And has for a number of years. Second down and 14 from the 23. Manuel in motion. He hasn't caught a pass tonight. And Simms for Moat, who makes the catch at the 50 and is down at the 46 of Washington. Todd Bowles covering.
Moat had a good receiving tight end. Hurt his knee badly 3 years ago, but before that had shown the good hands. They'd used him primarily as a blocker, but they got the matchup. It was Moat against Todd Bowles. Simms with a good pass. Bowles is a free safety. He ordinarily doesn't get himself locked up one-on-one. And when it is, it's going to be a tight end, but this is a good pass receiving tight end.
No, but as a free safety, he's got the speed where you wouldn't expect a tight end to get beyond him, and that's exactly what Moat did here. A fine catch, and he's the reason the Giants like the one-back set. Get Zeke Moat in the game.
Waning seconds of the period on first down. Simms to the far side. Bavaro.
That's the other one. Bill Parcells last year wanted that combination in there, and Bavaro was a holdout much of last year and was hurt throughout most of the season. He couldn't get them together. The year before that, Moat was just recovering from knee surgery. But in there together, they are great blockers, and both of them can take it deep.
We'll talk about surgery. What, it was this January that Bavaro has, what, thumb surgery, foot surgery, and shoulder surgery. All in the month of January. He played hurt last year, hobbled all around. No team in the league has a better pair of tight ends than the New York Giants. Yeah, you're right about that.
20-yard gain from the 25. It's Anderson for a 6-yard pickup. He takes it to the 19. So the Giants mount a good, long, sustained drive as the third period comes to a climax. Charles Mann makes the tackle, the only scoring in the period. Washington ripping, hitting Sanders to pull them to within 4.
And this stadium is a whole lot quieter than it was about 2 minutes ago.
That's the way you quiet it down. You take it from your own territory in about 4 plays and get inside the opposition's 20.
End of the third. We'll be back. Bill Sims, the quarterback, and Lee Rousson is the sole setback here with Moat in motion. And Rousson carries and is stopped after a gain of 2 by Darrell Grant. So the Giants trying to answer Washington's long drive with one of their own, then move up on top by, well, at least 7, and hopefully for the Giants, 11. Statistics through 3. Big numbers for the Redskins in the passing department.
96-yard drive for the last Redskins score accounts for a lot of that.
5 turnovers between the two teams, not all that uncommon on the very first game of the season, but boy, the 3 turnovers by the Redskins have really cost them some serious points on the scoreboard.
From the 17 on 3rd and a couple, it's Anderson fighting his way for what should be a first down. Otis Anderson again through the middle of the Washington line, and that would figure. Strong at the end and suspect in the interior.
We have reached the stage of a ball game here in the opener where, much like a heavyweight fight, when you go into that 10th or 11th round, you're looking at where conditioning, stamina, and desire come into play right now. Because these are 2 tired teams. They're going to have to, one of these teams is going to win this game on guts.
Now we could get that confirmed by Alex Wallow.
All right, we've got to bring him in if this is a heavyweight
fight.
Hard
by our side of the booth here.
Oh, pugilism is in my blood now.
Yeah, I can tell. This is Anderson. Big hole
And
through
he's
the
in the
middle.
end zone.
Touchdown. Otis Anderson, a man who shows up in camp wondering if he has a job.
And this is nothing more than straightaway blocking. Give Bart Oates the center and give the right guard, Damian Johnson, a tremendous assist.
No trap, just straight ahead blocking on the part of the 2 of them. And it was a beautiful hole for Otis Anderson. He's having quite a night.
I want you to take a look at this thing. We're going to look at it from high above after this kick, and you're going to see some fine one-on-one straight-ahead drive blocking by the New York Giants.
Allegre to the point after. It's perfect, and the Giants are back up on top by 11.
Here's how you split the 2 defensive tackles. Starts with a big block from the center right here, Bart Oates. Walls to the inside. Here's Damian Johnson. There's the wall to the outside. Otis Anderson, a clear shot right between the 2. Beautiful blocking at the point of attack. Anderson makes the right cut. And Todd Bowles misses a tackle at the 4. And the big man finds the zone.
And the kick is fielded at the 11-yard line by A.J. Johnson, who has some room to the outside. And then is caught from behind out at the 31-yard line by Greg Jackson. Well, on Saturday, as good as it gets in the early season,
The Michigan coach.
Bavaro
On the talk show circuit.
from the 34-yard line. The Redskins begin this drive, and on first down, it's Mark Rippon, and open over the middle and making the catch at the 47 is Jimmy Johnson. He's a 12th round draft choice. They had 2 in the 12th. Johnson and Joe Mickles, who also made the team, but just underwent arthroscopic surgery, and nobody is as good as Bobby Beathard, who quit as the general manager in April, is shopping in those discount stores at draft time and coming up with the gems.
Well, the Redskins are just hurting the Giants on that one series. That's the same play that Ricky Sanders caught the long touchdown catch. Worked well in the first half to Don Warren. That time Johnson's wide open. New York hasn't yet defensed that play.
From the 47-yard line, Riggs into Giant territory, brought down at the 42, very close to a first down. Terry Kennard makes the tackle, and it depends on the spot on a 10-yard pickup. Now, as far as the Redskins are concerned, in this decade, overall in the NFL, when teams have trailed after 3 quarters, they've won only 17% of the games, less than 1 of 5. But the Redskins, 7 times in this decade, have come back to beat the Giants when they trailed after 3. So Gibbs and his team, they've seen it before, mounting comeback after comeback. A first down from the 43. Clark inside the 30, and Gary to the 22-yard line. Stopped by Perry Williams.
What Gary Clark can do so well, along with Ricky Sanders, Art Monk, they're good runners after they catch the football. Simple little 4-yard hitch. You get the ball to him, and Perry Williams knows all about Gary Sanders. He has to play it very cautiously. He does get the tackle, but not until Clark has picked up an additional 7 or 8 yards.
Well, a 4-yard hitch is a pretty effective pattern when the corner's playing 12 yards off. Williams giving an awful lot of cushion to Gary Clark.
First and 10 from the 22. Biner goes in motion, and again it is Riggs taking it to the 17-yard line for a gain of 5. 11 minutes to go.
Boy, how much respect do the Redskins have for Lawrence Taylor? Ernest Biner goes in motion with no other responsibility than to get in the way of Lawrence Taylor,
who is slow in getting up.
Ernest Biner goes in motion away from the play, and it's his responsibility just to get out there and bump on Lawrence Taylor, keep him out. Don Warren at the same time is in his face. But yet, who ends up making the tackle? Lawrence Taylor.
Washington last year 25th in the league in rushing. They got Riggs, and nobody else except Monk has carried the ball. Monk on a reverse.
Shades of John Riggins, though. That's exactly how they used him. 25, 30, 35 times a game.
2nd and 5. Washington at the Giants' 17-yard line. Fake to Riggs. Rippon throwing to the 7-yard line, and the catch is made there by Ricky Sanders. And a 1st and goal.
Sanders with a good move, had himself covered in the end zone. Mark Collins, good coverage on him. Out comes Rippon. Sanders breaks it back to give his quarterback an angle, and Rippon was there. Now watch Sanders. Good coverage by Collins. Now he sees Rippon too. Rippon's rolling out. Now look at Sanders. He doesn't just stand there. He gives his quarterback an angle and gets the yardage inside the 10. First down, Redskins.
And I tell you what, guys, it's that same counter play action again. This series is just undefensible by the Giants. They can't get a hold of it.
You know, they're not running off it, Dan. They're throwing off it.
They run here with Riggs on 1st and goal. Nothing doing. He's wrapped up by Taylor. And Diassi also coming in from the backside. Under 10 minutes now to play.
You're really right, Frank. The Redskins will tell you they like to run that counter gap series 10 or 12 times a ball game. I don't remember them running it more than maybe 3 or 4 so far, but at least 4 times that I can think of, they've run the play action off of it, completed every one of them into a whole bunch of different people. Ricky Sanders, Gary Clark, Jimmy Johnson, and Don Warren. Each one of those guys has been the recipient of a rip and pass off the same play action.
You could say the Giants are conditioned to seeing it, and they react so totally to the run that they let the pass get completed.
2nd and goal. Sanders in motion to Clark's side. Rippon looks that way, hits Biner at the 6, and he is pushed back by Mark Collins. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Biner, the other acquisition that we have not seen that much of tonight, was the leading receiver for the Browns a year ago. He can do it all. You can play him as a running back. You can play him as a wide receiver. The motion back, anywhere you want to put him. He can do a lot of things, and I think, quite frankly, the Redskins were stunned when they were able to get him for Mike Oliphant, a 3rd-round draft pick of a year ago, and certainly not statistically an Ernest Biner.
Tough call here for the Redskins on 3rd and goal, but notice 3 receivers to the far side of the field.
The posse, but now they bring Sanders back to the left. Monk and Clark to the right. Rippon, good protection over the middle. Monk, touchdown. The first ever touchdown from Monk against the Giants.
That is amazing. He's had 39 career touchdowns. How many games has he played against the Giants over his career? So many.
Art Monk is sometimes, Frank, more like a tight end than he is a wide receiver. You talk about a receiver that goes into the middle. That time he runs into the middle and makes contact and runs right into a middle linebacker. I think it's Diassi of the Giants, spins off and makes the reception. I mean, there just aren't many wide receivers that'll go in there and tangle with a middle linebacker.
Redskins have 3 of them will do that.
Lohmiller puts it through. So 3 successive scoring drives, long ones. Washington, then New York, now Washington again. Art Monk came into the league in 1980 and finally scores against the Giants in '89.
What a mismatch. Monk against the
Giants down by 4 with Meggett. The Giants up by 4 as Meggett takes it back to the 30 and a penalty flag is down. The Giants on top 21-17 and Meggett is tackled by Minuski and a marker is down. Redskins indicating it's against New York. And Hantak, the Giants at the 21-yard line. 1st and 10, 8:06 to go. 21-17 New York. Nothing in the middle for Anderson. RFT very much alive after a first half in which the Redskins didn't do much. Giants led 14-0. It was 14-3 at the half, but Washington has mounted 2 long drives, and the Giants mounted one of their own in between, all resulting in touchdowns. Second and 10. Sims has it picked off by Coleman. Monty Coleman, touchdown Redskins.
Phil Simms tries to hit Mark Bavaro, but Monty Coleman plays a pass that was just not where Bavaro was. Some miscommunication between Bavaro and Phil Simms. Bavaro stopped. Simms throws it right to Monty Coleman, who one-hands it for a touchdown.
We talked at the beginning of the game why Monty Coleman is in this game. Ordinarily they go with Raven Caldwell. He's tough against the run, but Monty Coleman for 11 years has been tough against the pass, and that was a not only well played but a brilliant interception. Monty Coleman does what he's out there to do, gets the touchdown and puts the Redskins on top, and here's what it feels like when you throw the interception in the shadow of your own goalpost.
4. Washington has the lead for the first time tonight. Lohmiller puts it in the air, and it comes down to the 8-yard line into the hands of Meggett. And Lohmiller makes the tackle out at the 32.
One more time, Bavaro, for some reason, as Dan pointed out a moment ago, pulled up on it. And Monty Coleman with a great effort just to even get to the ball. One-hands it, sprints into the end zone.
And you saw that meter registering about 100. I'm not sure whether that was the decibel count or the Richter scale. I mean, this place was rocking. And still is. 1st and 10. Giants at the 32. 7:12 to play. Sims. First down, loses the ball, but no fumble, dead at the 44. Giants ball.
Boy, and you admire Phil Simms and his attitude, but Not a real smart play. That's an obvious situation where a quarterback ought to go into his hook slide. This is the first game of a very long season, and Phil Simms, rather than hook slide, look at this, takes on 2 Washington Redskins.
Wilbur Marshall almost puts him away.
Good call by the officials. Simms obviously on the ground, and the ground causing the fumble, but a risky play by Phil Simms.
1st and 10 at the 44-yard line.
But a gutsy play. You got to like it.
Yep. That was Manuel in motion. Simms stepping up and throwing, looking for Manuel, and overshoots him at the 40-yard line.
Ooh, and here
the flag is down.
Might have been lineman downfield. Simms.
William Roberts, I think, was way downfield, Frank.
Simms made it look like he was going to run. Roberts took off to lead him. Simms pulled up, and they're going to draw very severe penalty.
Well, the problem with that is
a tough one.
You can't blame the lineman. He thinks his quarterback is
Absolutely.
going to run. He's going downfield to try to protect him, and then the quarterback fools him.
Ineligible. Offense number 66 downfield. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 1st down.
William Roberts is the left guard, and he's right here. Watch him as he blocks at the line. When he feels that Simms is going to break and go downfield, you can't blame him. He's doing his job. When Phil breaks out right here, all his linemen thinks he's going to run. There goes Roberts downfield. Hey, Phil Simms threw him a curveball.
1st and 20 from the 34-yard line. And Simms going deep for Turner, but it hangs, and then Turner comes back to make the catch at the 21-yard line.
And that's what you can do when your receiver is 6 feet 3 inches tall, and Brian Davis, the corner, at 6'2". He's in the ballpark height-wise, but it's Turner all the way.
And Dan, he's a superb athlete. He timed that out beautifully.
Frank, we've seen this before. It's a short ball. This ball is just totally up for grabs. Both these guys are going to come to a complete stop, basically, before they jump at this thing.
Really a poor throw in the part of Simms if he's trying to get the sprint, but he's got the athletic Turner, and they weren't even close to it. And Turner, the key to that is timing it out, so at the height of your leap, you meet the ball, and that's exactly what Turner did.
Well, I'll tell you who else. Todd Bowles, the safety, should have been in on that play. Instead, he's falling backwards.
44-yard gain. Anderson to the outside. Wrestled down at the 15 by Alvin Walton. Gain of close to 7, 5.5 minutes to go.
You know, that's the type of pass you give a lot of credit to Odessa Turner for bringing that thing down. But in reality, you've got Brian Davis and you've got Todd Bowles, a pair of Washington defensive backs right there, and they can't prevent it.
Clock ticking down, 5:10 remaining, 4th quarter, 2nd and 3, Giants at the Redskin 15. Redskins on top, 24-21. As Howard Cross, the rookie in motion, O.J. Anderson protects the ball and picks up only a yard, setting up a key 3rd and 2 now. Wilbur Marshall makes the tackle.
Field goal, 24-21 will not get the lead back. You've got to think touchdown. You have to think 2 downs from here.
Richie Pettibone, the defensive coordinator of the Washington Redskins, trying to haul out anything he can pull out of his bag of tricks.
Well, the Giants are thinking they'll run it on 3rd, they'll run it on 4th. Good thing to do against the sure run almost is to blitz it.
3rd and a long 2, and Anderson is able to burrow forward and get to the 11-yard line, and that will be a 1st down.
What about Otis Anderson and his ability to consistently turn a 3rd and short into a 1st down? This guy's batting 1,000.
As he did all of last year.
He was perfect last year, and he's been perfect so far this game. Has he not? I can't remember him missing at all tonight.
He's going to play this game for the 30-something people.
That's what he said. Put him in our Tuesday night lineup.
Elvis Anderson is alive and well, and he has not left the stadium tonight.
Not yet. 1st and 10. They can get a 1st down without getting a touchdown. Anderson picks up about 1.5 yards. Marshall makes the tackle. 3:20.
Overtime.
Otis really slow getting up now. And hot night. Glances over to the bench. Parcells looks away, and he gets back into the huddle. You know him well, Dan.
It's tough. Hey, when you're that tired, good luck making eye contact with a coach. No coach wants to look out and make eye contact with a player who's that tired.
And don't read lips around here either.
Yeah. 2nd and 8. 8 for a first, 8.5 for a touchdown.
Watch out for Moat.
And the pass in that direction. But Monty Coleman really forced the issue and leveled Sims in the process.
I tell you, Monty Coleman has been all over this field tonight. That time in on the blitz. He's been tremendous as a pass defender, breaking up a couple of pass plays, forcing Sims to go where he doesn't want to go.
Well, credit that time Darrell Green and Alvin Walton. They sandwiched Moat. Phil Sims had nowhere to go. He wisely tossed it.
Meanwhile, Lionel Manuel was jumping up and down on the goal line. He was open.
3rd and 8. They haven't gotten the ball to Manuel tonight. He split to the bottom of the screen, and that's Turner on top. Carthen and Anderson behind Sims. 3rd and 8. Sims pressured by Mann. Sacked by Mann.
And you can give that sack to Mann, but also give it to Darrell Green. Phil Sims had locked up. He wanted to go to Manuel. Manuel came down, broke it in, broke it outside. Green didn't buy any of it. Super coverage on the part of Darrell Green. He did some job. Manuel runs very precise routes, particularly when you're down in close. And Sims had counted on him, looked at him, and by the time he pulled that ball down, Mann was there.
Raul Alegre, a 32-yard field goal attempt. He missed a 42-yarder earlier.
Hooked it badly.
Hostetler to hold. This one, though, is right through the uprights. And with a clock stop now, we have 2:17 to play. Each team with its full complement of timeouts remaining. And the game is tied at 24-24. Well,
no, I mean, how did this happen? Shut up, Frank.
Remember, Dan likes white owls, don't forget. Alegre to kick off at the 9-yard line. A.J. Johnson takes it and runs it back out to the 29. Again, the teams each with all of their timeouts left. And the ball at the 28-yard line. Mark Rippon coming back into the game. And again, Rippon making only the 7th start of his career, playing in only the 10th game of his career.
I really admire what he's done tonight. He was a little bit erratic in the first half. He threw a mindless interception right before the first half that could have really caused a problem. The Giants, Alegre missed the field goal, but he came right back, ripping it, tossing it, strong arm, and getting a lot of support from those outside guys, Sanders, Clark, and late in the game, Monk.
What a fine line he has to walk here, though. He can't be too aggressive, take too many chances, forcing it into coverage. And that's being very conservative. Good
Riggs
call.
Picks up 6. He takes it to the 35, and we come to the 2-minute warning.
That's a
It'll
good
be
call.
2nd and 4 for Washington when we come back. 2 minutes to go. What a way to open the 20th season of Monday Night Football. 24-24. Down and 4. Washington at the 35-yard line. And this is Riggs for a gain of a couple. He further advances the ball another couple of yards, but his knee was down at the 37. Meanwhile, behind. 3rd down 2.
Could be the play of the game here.
Yep. Yeah. From the 37-yard line. Rippon. Going deep. Very deep and no good at the 11-yard line.
And, of course, you're right. That's a big chance he just took.
Ralph Boshenko picked up last week from San Diego. It's a low kick. Takes a good Washington bounce. Back at the 11-yard line, it's Meggett picking it up, and he has nowhere to go with it but out of bounds.
But a good play by Meggett. You don't want to let that ball bounce. It might even have gotten inside the 5-yard line.
Giants set up the return. This time a very good kick from the 12. Meggett out past the 20 and back to the 29-yard line. Tackled by Harbor. And the line of scrimmage is the 29 with 44 seconds to play. And 3 receivers, Ingram and Manuel, split right. Turner to the left. Sims from the shotgun. 4-man Washington rush over the middle. Bavaro makes the catch and takes it to the 44-yard line. Giants don't want to spend a timeout here. Clock continuing to roll, a half a minute. Allegri awaiting what figures to be a field goal attempt if the Giants can get that close. And this is Meggett on the inside handoff. He takes it to the 48, and the Giants will spend their first time.
Boy, here's where your tight ends are really a luxury. 3 wide receiver set.
2nd and 2 and a low snap. Sims picks it up, throws over the middle, and at the 36-yard line, no catch. Ingram, 17 seconds now.
He was there.
2 from the 48. Four-man rush. Bavaro gets taken down.
And there's
flags all over the joint.
And Clarence Vaughn. Yeah, that's a penalty all the way. And here comes another penalty.
First and
it was
10
loud.
At the 41-yard line. Over the middle, hits Ingram. Forward progress, loses the ball at the 38-yard line, but the play is whistled dead at the 35-yard line, meaning a 52-yard field goal. And Bavaro was the prayer.
He got
Good. Just barely good.
What a finish. And this game's over. That took all 6 seconds. Raul. That's a long field goal. It took all 6 seconds, and it's the final play of the game. 52 yards. And by how much did it make it? A good yard.
Raul Allegri.
A stunned silence almost has fallen over RFK. Two tough teams. Both of them battled back, kept coming back at each other all night.
And so the Giants, who beat Washington twice last season, start the 1989 season with a victory over their arch rivals in a road game. And Raul Allegri, I think that's Mom.
She would like to be if it isn't.
Well, tough to script a closer game than this one. We saw some all-star efforts from people like Lawrence Taylor and Jim Lachey and Art Monk, Mark Rippon, Phil Simms. Boy, a lot of good football here
How about
tonight.
your old teammate?
And how about Raul Allegri, Otis Anderson? Some good football here tonight in the season opener.
George Allen type football.
George Allen type
Well, he
football.
just wandered into the booth. He won
right,
a whole
he
bunch
did.
of them right here. What a great shot that is.
It clears by maybe a yard to spare.
And at just past 12, the clock strikes midnight for the Redskins. And for the Giants, a happy flight home, a victory in the very tough NFC East, which figures to be a three-way battle between
Doug Higgins now will have to re-kick from his own 30. Flanked at the 5, M.J. Nelson and Mike Pritchard for the Buffaloes. Again, 1-2 in the nation in kick returns. This comes to Nelson at the 5. And it's a 19-yard return to the 24-yard line for Colorado. Now, we've mentioned a lot about Salinesi. Well, his spot has been taken over by a sophomore, Darian Hagan. He has rushed for over 100 yards in the first 2 games. In the backfield, Hagan is joined by Eric Kissick and Eric Bieniemy, 6th last year in the nation in rushing. Mike Pritchard on a wing. The wide receiver, a big play man, Jeff Campbell, who hails from Vail, Colorado. You're looking at number 3, Darian Hagan. An option wizard on 1st and 10 from the 25. Give this to Bieniemy, and he'll lose a yard. Let's meet the front 7 from Illinois. Mo Gardner, the nose tackle. He's a junior, and he's a great player. Joined up front by Sean Streeter and Mel Agee. The linebackers in the inside, Derek Brownlow.